In this video, I'm about to reveal the entire process, start to finish, how you guys can build $10,000 AI websites, and it's a pretty easy process as well. So there's not going to be many cuts throughout this video. I'm kind of just going to be, yapping the entire time. So it might even end up being like 30 to 40 minutes. But trust me, it's probably going to be one of the best 30 to 40 minute videos that you've ever watched on YouTube, okay? Especially because this stuff is so new. But before I get into explaining the whole process here, you can see there's 4 main steps, all of which is pretty self-explanatory, but you'll understand what I mean the further on that I get. What I want to start by doing first is showing you guys a little bit of proof. Now, obviously, I'll have to, blur out a few things on this page here because sensitive information and stuff. But as you guys can see, where is it? Complete on April 4th. So the last time that I did this, I'm recording this on April 7th. It was literally 3 days ago. So you don't have to worry about me teaching something that I don't do, or like I'm preaching something that I don't practice. I literally have done this as close or as recent as 3 days ago. And let me just refresh here just so you guys can see. Refresh. I don't even know how to show that a page isn't fake because I've never even looked into it. But yeah, you can see the total earnings. You can see whatever. That I got a 5-star review, all that type of stuff. Cool. I don't know what else to do there, but that's my proof of concept. Take it if you want to. If you want to believe that I'm lying, then cool. I really don't care. Now, something else that I want to say as well, because the last thing I want to be is like these horrendous just phony gurus who try and make it seem like they've been in the industry for 40,000 years, even though they're 21 years old, and they try and make it seem like they've seen every nook and cranny. Guys, I want to be very clear when I talk about this stuff. I literally started looking into this AI website stuff a little over 2 months ago, maybe 2.5, 3, you can call it 3 months if you want to. So I've only been in it quite recently, but if anything, that should be more so a testament to how easy it is to start, okay? Because I could sit here and I could lie and I could be like, oh boys, I've been in this for 3,000 years, right? And I've learnt everything that there is to know about it. But that's not the truth. It's not transparent for me to do that. And if anything, it should be more of a reason for you guys to want to start learning how to do this, because it's only been about 2 months for me, and I've already started selling thousands of dollars worth of websites. Anyway, let's get into the actual core of the video. So the first thing that we're going to be starting with is step number 1, which is obviously client outreach. Now, client outreach, there's 3 different ways that you can go about this, okay? So you got cold contact, you got paid ads, and you got freelance websites. Now, as you guys seen at the start of the video, the proof that I showed you guys was obviously on the platform called Upwork, but we're going to get to that later on. The first thing that I want to do is kind of address what other ways of client outreach that you guys may be thinking of, and kind of systematically breaking down why we I mean, you guys can do what I'm doing if you want to, or you can do whatever you want depending on your circumstances, but I'm going to be trying to provide the overview to, I guess, kind of just help inform you guys to make a decision of your own. Let's get started with cold contact. Now, cold contact is probably going to be the hardest way of trying to get a client, but here's the delineation that I want to kind of make here, okay? If you've got a lot of time, but you don't have a lot of money, then that's kind of your most reasonable explanation as to why you would want to do cold contact. So obviously you've got email, you've got call, you've got in-person. Now, when I say in-person, I don't necessarily mean, busting down your local business's doors and saying, hey, anyone need a website? Like, I mean, maybe that might work for you, but more so what I'm kind of talking about is like your network, people that you know. It might be even you have friends that are starting businesses, or maybe you do bust down doors in local businesses, and that's how you get clients. Maybe it works for you, but that's kind of what I'm talking about. Now, when I say call, this isn't going to be as confrontational as in person. It's kind of just going to be, you scrape leads on the internet, you find leads that don't have websites connected to them, you give them a call, be like, hey, I seen that you didn't have a website. Is it true that you need a website built, or maybe it's just not linked? Whatever. The most accessible method of cold contact that's probably going to be applicable to you guys if you want to get started with cold contact is obviously going to be email. And the reason why I say email, let me just make this a bit smaller. The reason why I say email is because you have tools such as, you can kind of search this up. I'm not going to instantly. Did I spell it right? Instantly. Yep. And you've got tools like Smart Lead. Now, both of these are AI tools, right? But they kind of serve a similar purpose, a similar use case, which is that you can make as many email domains as you want to make. So let's say that you've got a domain and your business domain is AIwebsites.com, right? You can make as many different subdomains as you want to, as many different emails attached to that business domain, such as websites at AIwebsites.com, info at AIwebsites.com, reach at AIwebsites.com. You can warm up those emails automatically with these two tools, and then you can quite literally send out thousands of emails per day just to every lead that you might have saying, hey, I seen you don't have a website, or hey, I seen you have a website, but it's kind of ass. Do you want to make a better one? And that's how you can kind of automate the outreach process so that it's not as exhausting as something like calling or in person. So those are the three different methods. We're not going to be going too in depth on any of them because that's not what we're talking about in this video. But let me go on with the second method, which is going to be paid ads. Now, for cold contact, I told you guys that that's what you would do if you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of time. Paid ads is kind of the inverted version of that. So paid ads you do if you have a lot of money, but you don't have a lot of time, right? So it's the opposite. And all you would do with paid ads, there's 100 different ways that you can go about this, but let me just explain to you guys the easiest way that actually yields results. And I might actually make a tutorial on this. I probably will at a later point. And to be honest with you, every step that I show you guys throughout this video, I can make separate videos on. I could quite literally make a separate video on cold outreach via email, via call, via in person. I could make a separate video on paid ads via AI UGC. So I want you guys to take it with a grain of salt, everything that I'm telling you. I'm not going too into depth with everything because if I did, this could literally be like a 5-hour long video. So I'm kind of just giving you an overview rather than in depth on everything, just so you understand the whole system, the whole process that we go through, that I quite literally go through myself. So let's get started with paid ads. Now, when I say AI UGC, obviously AI artificial intelligence, if you didn't know that, you probably shouldn't. I don't even know how you found this video. But when I say UGC, if you don't know what that means, it basically means user-generated content. And if you're on the internet, you would have seen this type of content. You might just not have known that UGC is the name of it. So when I talk user-generated content, I mean there's some sort of individual, maybe there's multiple, and they're talking or they're promoting or they're showing a product on their screen, and basically they might be like, oh, guys, check out this new skincare lotion that I just found. It removes all of your pimples and all that. Click the link below. That's user-generated content, right? Now, when I say AI, the AI version of this, it's very simple. So you have tools such as I'm not going to go into depth with this. You have tools such as Arcads. You have tools such as HeyGen. Both of these are AI tools. HeyGen was leading, I guess it still is kind of the industry leader when it comes to UGC content, but Arcads is really, really picking up steam. This example right here that you guys can see, okay, this is AI and it's with Arcads, okay? So just to give you guys a little bit of an example, this is not a real person. Some of you guys might have picked up on that, some of you guys may not have. I wouldn't, trust me, I'm probably deeper in the AI industry than you guys are watching this. If I seen that and you didn't tell me it was AI, I would not have known, okay? So if you're saying that you knew, you're lying, bruv, honest. You're straight lying. But anyway, that's the paid ad section. Let's move on to the freelance sites. And this method of outreach is probably what I would recommend the most to get started. And the reason being, when I talk about cold contact and I talked about emails from before, the average I believe the average response rate for cold emails is 1 to 5%, something similar to that. When I showed you guys the client at the start, okay, and you can take my word for it, you can think I'm lying. To be honest, I don't care. I'm not going to go through and try and find receipts and everything. But when I got that client, guess how many, I don't know why I'm asking you guys to guess as if you're going to respond through the screen, but I sent 2 total messages to get that client. So what I mean when I say this is that I was looking for a client. I sent one message to one prospect. I sent another message to another prospect. One of them didn't reply. The other one became my client. In other words, not only was it a 50% response rate, but it was a 50% client acquisition rate, which is absolutely insane. Now, I'm not saying that when you guys get started, that's how it's going to be for you. Chances are it's not, okay? But all I'm saying is that the reason why it's a lot easier on freelance sites such as Upwork and such as Fiverr is because it's not necessarily cold outreach, okay? And the reason why it's not cold outreach is because in the context of Upwork and Fiverr, people are already looking for jobs that you're going to provide a service for. So you may go to the search bar and you may search something like, okay, listen, I was going to give some secret sauce away, but I do have to tell you guys, okay, I'm going to give you guys the entire process throughout this video, but the secret little hacks and bits and pieces that are really going to separate you from the rest, I can't give it away because, okay, I do have to plug it. I do have a one-on-one coaching, okay, and it's you guys can book a free call down below if you want to. It'll be like 20 minutes. I'm pretty direct and I cut to the chase in these calls. But if you're in my one-on-one coaching, I'll give you everything. But it would be unfair to them if if I'm spilling everything in this video. So I'll try and get as close to it as I can without being unfair to them. But yeah, all you would search is something related to building websites. I'm not going to say exactly what, but yeah. So you go to the search bar, you search. Just pretend this says websites. You search websites, and because you know that those people are already searching for the service that you're providing, it's not really cold outreach, is it, right? Because you know that they're looking for what you provide. So it's not the same as trying to pitch them on a service that they don't even want, okay? So that's why it makes it a little bit easier. And you can do this through Upwork, you can do it through Fiverr, you can even do it through like Discord channels. There are a million different ways, but the one that I would recommend is Upwork. As you guys seen at the start, it's quite literally the one that I am using right now. So that pretty much wraps up the entire client outreach section. I'm trying to keep this as simple and as straightforward as I can. In the future, I'll probably make details breaking all of this down. But for now, let's move on to step number 2. All right, so at this point, I'm assuming that you settled on your client outreach method and you're ready to move on to step number 2, which is going to be how to actually secure the client. Now, this is a massive, massive, massive step that a lot of people overlook, okay? And they just spam messages to business owners thinking randomly they're just going to pick mine for whatever reason. Maybe they like the way that my name looks. That's what separates me from the rest. And it's so unbelievably stupid because you have to do things. Imagine this, okay? In a sea full of applicants that all look exactly the same, why do you think your message is going to stand out? It's just stupid. And it applies to every business model, not just this, of people thinking they can just send a message saying, hey, bruv, I've seen your job post. I thought I'd be good for it. Let me know. Like why in the world do you think they would select you? So here, I would argue, is probably one of the most valuable steps in this whole process, and I'm going to break it down for you guys. So as you can see, step number 2 is securing the client. So when you start outreaching, there's a couple different things that you can do to really, really unbelievably separate yourself from the rest of the people applying. And I like to think of it in kind of 3 different ways that you're going to separate yourself. Number 1, you're going to attach a video. Instantly, it's so easy to do, but instantly, as soon as you attach a video, you separate yourself from about 99% of the people who are applying to the job, okay? Who are trying to contact that business owner. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the Loom method, which I'm going to explain in a second. And then number 3, this is obviously the hardest and it's going to take the most time. But if there's a job or there's a posting that you really want to get or a client that you really want to work with, this is going to be by far the most valuable thing to do. Even though if you do it and you don't get the job, you're going to feel like, I wasted a lot of time there and I wasted a lot of energy. But at the same time, you're never going to have as high a likelihood to get the job if you don't do these 3 steps, with obviously the demo and the sample being the most valuable of the 3. So when you combine all of these 3 together over here, this is what you get. And this, funnily enough, is actually a literal example that I used to get one of my clients, okay? So this website that you see in the background, this was a demo, or like a demo or a sample that I quite literally made just so I could try and get this client, okay? And when I say the Loom method over here, let me quickly explain that because I don't think I explained it yet. When I say the Loom method, all it means is, it's quite literally the format of this video that you guys are watching. It simply means having your webcam set up. It doesn't have to be a circle, okay? Just have your face cam in there, because showing your face is going to build the trust. It's going to make the business owner seem like, okay, it's a real person. It's not some, hunchback on his chair who's just a weirdo. Like, it shows you have some social skills. It shows you're kind of personable. Assuming that you know how to talk in camera, obviously it's a massive, massive benefit, because a lot of these developers and stuff, they might have developing skills, but they don't really know how to develop a relationship with the client. And if you do that, it's going to separate you majorly outside of, the demo and the video. So we've gone over the demo sample, we've gone over the Loom method, and then obviously number 3 is literally just attaching the video. When you combine all 3 of those together, this is what you get. And it's very simple, guys. You literally just want to, well, again, I'm not going to say exactly what to put in the video, because again, that's going to be for the one-on-one coaching that I have. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You just make a 60 to 90 second video explaining why the position would be best for you, why you would be best for the position. And yeah, anything that really separates you from the rest, you put into that video. I've got an example right here. What is this? So this is one of my clients, and I said, this is one of my clients, and he said, He spelled my he spelled my name wrong, by the way, but he said, appreciate you taking the time to make that quick website and video that stood out a lot. Yeah, the rest of it doesn't really matter. But long story short, it's basically him validating everything that I quite literally just said. I made a quick website, I made a quick video, and it stood out from the rest. So if you need any proof, then that's quite literally a client providing validation for these methods. And again, guys, if you want the entire structure for these outreach videos that I recommend, along with quite literally step-by-step everything to do, if you want to, guys, book the free call. There'll be a link in the description somewhere. I don't know, just look, it'll be there somewhere. Completely free call, you can book with me. Obviously, the coaching isn't going to be free, but yeah, the call will be. Now, let's move on to step number 3. Now, this obviously is probably going to be the hardest step. You could argue that step number 1 would be you could argue that getting a client might be the hardest step, but fulfillment is going to be the step where the majority of the actual work goes on. And I know a lot of people might pitch AI website building to you and say that, you can just fall asleep and the AI will build the website itself. That's not the case at all, okay? It is going to require a little bit of work and a little bit of effort, but I do want to reassure you guys that you literally, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, you don't need any coding experience at all, okay? So I've already sold these websites, and I don't think you'd be able to find a human that exists on this planet that is worse at coding or knows less about coding language than I do, okay? It's actually really bad, which kind of deterred me from doing this a lot. But as I did more research and I found out about, the methods of building AI websites, I was like, let me just test it out. And it was just unbelievable when I started to get to actually building it. So fulfillment can be broken down into 3 steps, okay? You've got, well, not really 3 steps, 3 different categories. You've got the front end, which is literally what you see on the website. You've got the back end, which is kind of where all the information is stored, such as, client details, payment information, if they have to upload, photos or videos or stuff like that. That's where all of it is kept on the back end. And then you've got the web hosting, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's literally where you host the website. The front end is going to be where the majority of the AI systems come into play, okay? And you've got a few different ways that you can go about this. So you've got Bolt New, which is the one that I use. You've got Lovable, which I think, pretty sure Lovable came a lot before Bolt New, but Bolt New's kind of taken over in terms of popularity. And then number 3, you've got Cursor. If you don't know what Cursor is, it's a software that you download onto your PC, you install and all that, and then it kind of helps you. You can provide it context. You can say, this is coming up with this error message. How do I fix it? It's kind of just like any other LLM. And just so you guys know as well, you can hook up any LLM that you want to Cursor. I'd probably recommend Claude 3.7 Sonnet. But yeah, just test around, see whatever works for you. Again, I'm most definitely not going to go into detail about how to do these things right now. I'll probably make a separate video. Again, this is just explaining the whole overview, but what I would probably recommend is use Bolt New and then use Cursor to help fix any issues that are happening and stuff like that. I'm going to include a little hack right here as well, because I'm not going to explain it fully, but if you guys want to as well, Grok is an absolute cheat code, okay? And trust me, I found this out through many different trial and errors. I've tried Grok, I've tried Claude, I've tried ChatGPT, I've tried DeepSeek. If you know an LLM, I've tried it when it comes to building these websites, okay? And I can wholeheartedly, absolutely, undeniably say to you that Grok is by far the best. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to use it in the best way. I know you're probably frustrated me, but I do have to save that stuff for the one-on-one coaching. All I can say, though, is that use Grok. Even if Cursor's not working, trust me, there are times when Cursor won't work, but Grok will. So just trust me. If you're having issues, use Grok, okay? That's all I'm going to say. The backend is quite self-explanatory. Now, the reason why Supabase is going to be our preference for this, I didn't even include any other options, is because number 1, Supabase integrates with Bolt New and Lovable. So your front-end options right here are going to be directly compatible with your backend. You don't want to risk doing everything separately and using things like Firebase to externally connect to your project. I don't know why you'd make it hard for yourself. Simply just use the backend that's integrated with the
the front end builder that you're using. So I'm not going to explain that too much. Just use Supabase. Do not question me. Okay. Number 3, again, it's kind of similar to the back end. Use Netlify because it automatically integrates with Bolt New. I'm not sure if it integrates with Lovable, but regardless, Netlify, it has a great free plan. It's extremely cheap, even if you do upgrade to the Pro plan. I've just had no issues with it. I've hosted multiple websites with Netlify. Never had any issues. The transfer is easy. It's all very, very simple. So again, do not question me for the web hosting. Use Netlify. All right, now let's move. Oh, what are these messages I put here? First off, I just want to. Okay, so I guess these are like testimonials in a way, proof of concept that the websites actually are really high quality. Because one thing I want to make clear before I read this, guys, a lot of you guys might be thinking, or like maybe I'm trying to reach here by building AI websites because they're probably expecting high quality than what the AI can actually provide. Guys, take my word for it. These AI websites are insane. Okay, you would never ever trust me ever be able to tell that AI actually built it, as long as you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, trust me, I can look at it for 2 seconds and tell it was AI. But if you know what you're doing, you will never be able to tell. So let's read this here. It says, first off, I just want to say this looks really good, well put together, even without design implemented yet. Oh yeah, and another thing I want to tell you guys, you want to leave the design for the last bit, okay? Because the design is pretty easy to implement. You just use an AI prompt, say, I want to overhaul this entire website with this color scheme and make it this design and make this animated. Bang, you do it all together. You want to leave that to the last until you actually have the functionality in place, okay? I need to say that slowly. Make sure that you have all functionality in place before you worry about the cosmetic and the aesthetic and the design, okay? I can already see this becoming the go-to. Cool. Lol, you nice bird. Yes, this is, I swear on my life, guys, this is what a client said to me. I don't know how to convince you guys, but yeah, lol, you nice bro, this is fire, bro, these disclaimers are scaring me. Extremely sick. I think this may actually work. You hella nice, bro. No glaze. I swear on my entire life, that is a client responding to me sending him my actual work. So that's pretty much in the entire step number 3 of fulfillment. Now we're moving on to the very last step, the very last process in this whole system, which is going to be contract conclusion. Now, if you don't know what you're doing here, and again, I was just like you guys, I had no idea how to transfer any of this stuff when I first started. I quite literally just had to figure it out as I was going. But now that I've done it, I can tell you guys exactly the easiest way to do all of it, assuming that you used all of the software that I told you to use. If you didn't use the software I told you to use, well, then I don't care, because you didn't do what I said, okay? So you've got 2 different methods of doing the transfer after you conclude the contract. So number 1 is a clean transfer. Now, I would recommend a clean transfer if either you don't like the client, or maybe it was a hassle to work with them, or maybe it's just taking too much time and you're neglecting other work that you might have on, your schedule's changed, whatever. Only do a clean transfer if you don't want to work with the client or you don't want to work in that ecosystem anymore. Now, there's 3 different things that you have to transfer over to the client. Number 1, the database, so obviously a backend. Number 2 is the website hosting, which we're going to do on Netlify. Number 3 is all of the code and all of the files that come with your website. Now, Supabase is quite simple. Let me just get it up over here. Made a list. Okay, so Supabase is quite simple. You're going to be operating in terms of organization. So you'll notice that when you connect your website to a Supabase, to your Supabase account, you're going to automatically create an organization. Now, in order to transfer this to your client, all that you have to do is invite them to your organization. Once they're there, you make them an owner, and then after they've become an owner, you can simply leave that organization, wash your hands, you're done. It's actually very simple. I don't know what that's meant to be, but that's pretty much the entire Supabase explanation. There's nothing else to say. Then for the website hosting, it's pretty much the exact same thing. The only thing that I tweak around is that instead of you inviting them, it's actually the opposite with Netlify, because with Netlify, they have to invite you, or they don't necessarily have to invite you, but in order to invite someone to a team, it's called a team instead of an organization. In Netlify, you actually have to get the pro plan, which is $19 USD a month as of the time I'm making this video. So you can simply ask the client, get the pro plan. They're going to need it anyway if they plan on, having traffic come to the website. Get the pro plan, invite me to your team, and then once I'm there, make me an owner. Once I'm an owner, I'll transfer the website directly to you. It happens instantly. You don't have to wait any time. And then once you've transferred the website, you just leave the team. Done. That's the end of it. Now, the GitHub repository, there's going to be a few different ways to do this, but the easiest way, especially if you used especially if you use Bolt New and Lovable, the easiest way for both of them is going to be to simply ask your client for their GitHub details. If they don't want to give you their details, which is kind of understandable, then it does add an extra step. But long story short, you simply want to, through the platform of Lovable or Bolt.new, you deposit all of your website files onto GitHub, and then if they don't want to give you their account, then you transfer ownership to them. Or if they do want to give you their account, then you simply link it with your project and you deposit with the integration from Bolt.new or Lovable. Again, I might make a separate video explaining this because I probably butchered the explanation of that, but it's actually very, very simple. Okay, so that's the whole explanation for if you want to do a clean transfer. Now let's move on to the second option. So the second option is going to be if you want to build up some form of recurring revenue. And the recurring revenue is not going to be weekly, it's going to be MRR. When I say MRR, I mean monthly recurring revenue. So you're going to charge the client based on the month. Now, there's two different features that you're going to be charging them for here. Number one is the database hosting, which is obviously Supabase. And then number two is the website hosting, which is going to be through Netlify. Now, depending on the complexity of the project, depending on the traffic that it's receiving, you can probably charge them about $200 to $300. You can probably charge them about $200 to $300 per month for the hosting. And then sometimes what I like to do as well is you can even increase the price if you're offering a little bit of extra support on top of that. So when I say extra support, I don't mean rebuilding the entire website. I mean, if they have an issue where they say, oh, how do I do this? Then if issues are coming up like that, a couple of times every week or whatever, you can simply charge them maybe an extra $100, extra $200, depending on how frequent those issues are. You can probably get it up to $300 or $400 per month. Okay, but that's only if you're providing extra support. If you're not providing any extra support, simply just do about $200, $300 per month. Pretty much every client that you meet is going to be fine with doing that because a lot of them don't want to do any of the backend stuff. They don't even want to connect the domain. They don't want to deal with their own database. They don't want to deal with their own website hosting. It's a lot of these guys, they're business guys. They don't care about any of the backend stuff. They're perfectly happy with spending a few extra $100 per month. And keep in mind, guys, if they're paying about $200 to $300 per month just for hosting, which you literally don't have to do anything for, but just pay for the subscription on Supabase and Netlify, then if you get like 5 clients and they're paying $200, $300 per month, that's an easy 1.5, $2K per month. You're kind of doing for nothing, to be honest with you. So just a quick recap, that's the 4th step, and that is the final step. You've got client outreach, you've got securing the client, which is absolutely massive. You've got fulfillment, and then you've got the contract conclusion and what to do after you're kind of, wrapping up the entire project. Again, guys, I want to reiterate because some of this stuff might be a little bit confusing, which I understand and is perfectly fine. If you guys do want, there is a link in the description. Book a one-on-one call with me. It's completely free. It'll take about 20 minutes. Like I said, I kind of cut to the chase and very direct. If I think we can work together, then great, I'll get to it. If I don't think we can work together, I'm probably just going to say, hey, bruv, it was nice talking to you. Wish you all the best, but I'm out. I don't even know what the pricing will be. It'll probably be upwards of like $1,000 per month, guys, if I'm being completely honest with you. I could literally do what these other gurus do and be like, book the call and find out what the price is. I'm not revealing it on this call or on this video, but it'll probably be upwards of $1,000 a month, guys. And if you think that's high, I really don't care. I'd much rather have a couple of you guys that I'm trying to coach on this stuff that I can provide my undivided attention to, rather than have like 1,000 of you guys for $100 a month that I'm trying to manage and giving all of you guys equally bad attention. I'd much rather just have like 5 of you guys for $1,000, $2,000, and then I can actually say one-on-one in calls and text messages, this is what you do, answering all of your questions in real time. That's pretty much everything, guys. I think I've covered everything. That is quite literally how you easily make $10,000 AI websites and how you can make this your entire income.